my name is Vidhi Kalra and welcome back to my channel 5 Minute Economics, where I teach economic concepts in a span of just 5 minutes. The topic for today is the Laffer Curve, which is a very simple and sweet topic, and I'll be explaining you that in thorough detail in this particular video. So yeah, let's get started. Also guys, don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel in case you haven't already, and do follow me on Instagram at @5 Minute Economics. So first, let me explain you the concept of the Laffer curve. So the concept of the Laffer curve, as the name suggests, was discovered by Arthur Laffer in the year 1974. So what does this basically mean, or what does it depict us? It basically shows the relationship between tax rates and tax revenue. Okay, these two things have to be kept in mind. And while studying this particular curve, we need to remember a small formula, which is TR is equal to T into tax base, where TR stands for the tax revenue and small t stands for rate of tax. So basically, what is our tax revenue? It is equal to the tax rate, what the government has said, into the tax base. So what is this curve depicting? This basically shows that, you might think, a layman might think actually, that the best way for a government to increase its tax revenue is by increasing the taxes, right? When they increase the tax rate, obviously the government will get more revenue and government can cover any shortfall. So you might think this is the best possible way, but this actually will happen to a certain level. After a certain point of time, what will happen? Even if the government is increasing the tax rate, the revenue will not increase. In fact, the revenue will start falling. Why does that happen? Because people lose the incentive to work, because most of the income is going to government. It is not coming to them. In fact, Arthur Laffer also said that sometimes decrease in the tax rate leads to increase in the tax revenue. So we will study this concept further with the help of an diagram. But first, let me give you an example. So for example, I am a farmer and I produce rice and wheat, and both are taxed at 10% tax rate. Okay, supposedly what happens, government starts to tax the rice more. So supposedly my rice is now from 10%, government has taxed it to 20%. So I'm like, okay, it's okay, I have to produce, so I will give the tax to the government. But after some point of time, government keeps on increasing the taxes on rice from 10% to 20%, 30%, 40%. All this is hypothetical. Supposedly government has taxed rice at 50% or maybe 60%. So I will feel, why am I investing so much of my hard work in producing rice when most of my hard-earned money is going to government in the form of tax revenue? I will rather further shift my production to produce more of wheat rather than rice, right? Because I will lose the incentive to work, because government is getting the money and not me. So this is what the concept of Laffer curve is. We'll be studying this more with the help of an example now. So now finally coming to the diagram of the Laffer curve. So basically, this is the main diagram which you need to remember. On the x-axis, we have taken tax rate, which is in terms of percentage, and on the y-axis, I have taken tax revenue, which is in maybe rupees, we can take it. Okay, so we have this curve, and we see that initially, maybe when we are at 10% tax rate, government has put a tax rate of 10%, our tax revenue is increasing. You see, from 500 to 1000, we are going upwards, right? This curve, this blue line is going up. But we notice after a point of time, with the increase in tax rate, our revenue starts falling. When does this happen? This happens when the tax rate has reached 50%. Initially, so we see, 10%, our revenue is 500, and maybe when it's over here around 30%, our revenue has increased to 1000, and so on and so forth. When our tax rate has reached 50%, at this point, our tax revenue is 2000. This is the point. This T point is the optimum revenue point. Further, if government increases its taxes from 50% to maybe 60, 70, whatever, the tax revenue starts falling. We can see until the time it keeps falling. Because why? Because tax rates have increased. And as I just explained you the reason behind it, number one reason is disincentive to work. A person will obviously feel that if I am doing so much of hard work and I have to give 90% of my income to the government in the form of taxes, then why am I working so much? In fact, I should substitute it with leisure, with activities where what I like. Maybe I can spend time with my family, right? So you tend to substitute work in place, substitute leisure to work. Secondly, another thing might happen is tax evasion. So we all know this is very common, especially in a lot of countries. Actually, I shouldn't be naming anyone. So tax evasion is a concept where people start to do frauds and evade taxes and change the your accounts and so on. Why? Because government is forcing the people to do so, because government is charging so much of taxes from the people that they will start to evade tax and indulge in illegal activities. And lastly, thirdly, is immigration. So basically the highly skilled people who are taxed the most heavily, they might what might they do? They might just immigrate to different countries. They might feel here we are working our asses off, and what happens is, it happens that our hard-earned money is going to the government. So it's better we immigrate and shift to another country where we are not taxed so heavily. So these three things might happen when our tax rate increases considerably. So here you might remember the shape of the curve, which is an inverted U shape. It might come for competitive exams, so it is an inverted U shape, as you can clearly see. So what did Laffer say? Arthur Laffer, he said that initially tax revenue increases up to a certain level, then tax revenue falls as tax rate increases. And sometimes it also is it is said that what happens is, as I just mentioned previously, that reducing the tax rate increases the tax revenue, right? If we are at 90% and we reduce the tax rate to maybe 50% or further lower 40%, we see our revenue goes up. Because why? People will get the incentive to work. People will feel our money is not going all to the government. We have some money, and of course some has to be paid to the government in the form of taxes. So that way people will be incentivized to work. So this is the entire concept of the Laffer curve. So this is all about this concept, guys. This was discovered back in 1970s when US had fallen in a situation of stagflation because it had crossed the optimum level of taxation, and it was Arthur Laffer who had recommended it to the president back then of US to reduce the taxation. And in fact, it showed a very positive effect that reducing the taxes boomed the economy. So this is all about this particular video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next video pretty soon.